Hi, Michelle Glass here. Welcome to our first episode of Chapter 12, Lecture 12. We are talking here about the nervous system. The nervous system has the job of communication. That's been our catchphrase from the beginning, which really means the collection of sensory information from both the inside and the outside of the body, processing of that sensory information, and then the direction of responses. We can divide the nervous system up into two major sections. First is the central nervous system, or CNS, as the brain and the spinal cord, so the axis of the body. You should consider that the CNS is really responsible for that processing of information and the directing of responses. The peripheral nervous system would be on the outside or away from that axis, so this is your nerves. Your peripheral nervous system is really then responsible for the transmission of signals, either sensory information to the central nervous system or those responses from the central nervous system out to the body. Now, your brain, your spinal cord, your nerves are made up of lots of different types of cells, but the primary cell, the functional cell, is the neuron. This is the cell that is doing all of the communication. So it's collecting that sensory information, transmitting it, processing it, and then sending those signals out to the body. The neuron can be drawn like this, where the largest portion of the neuron that contains the nucleus and the other organelles, we can call that either the soma or the cell body. Now you have extensions of the membrane here that bring information into the cell body called dendrites. And also in the cell body, you have what are collectively called nice-cell bodies. These are bunches of ribosomes and rough endoplasmic reticulum that has a gray appearance to it. Whenever you're talking about gray matter in the nervous system, you should just think, okay, that's because of those nice-cell bodies. What we should really know is this whole kind of a soma or cell body is involved in processing information. So when we look at gray matter, again, in either the CNS or the PNS, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, you should remember cell bodies are there. It's processing information. Coming off of the cell body is your axon, and where the axon comes off is called the axon hillock. Now this is actually going to be where our action potential is initiated, so this is something to pay attention to. We will see that the axon hillock contains chemically gated sodium channels, just like that motor end plate on skeletal muscle that we spent our last chapter talking about. Branching off then, going out to the body is the axon. I said going out to the body, but it could be going into the CNS. It could be neuron to neuron. The key thing is that the axon is going to transmit the signal to the next cell. The axon itself has an excitable membrane, and we call that the axonema. And then the end of the axon, you will have synaptic knobs, which contains your neurotransmitter, and we've looked at that as part of our study of skeletal muscle. Now, all of this section of the neuron, you should consider as being involved in transmission of information. So it's sending that information either from the body to the CNS, from the CNS to the body, or connecting neurons to neurons. When we talk about nerves, they're composed of the axons. Okay, that's it for now.